Howdy Hive Scum, and welcome back to episode 4 in my Gangs of Necromunda for Warhammer Necromunda Skirmish 2026. This is Gangs of the Outlands. We already did part 1 of this, featuring Chaos Helots, Gene Stealer Cult gangs, among others as well. We're now moving on to Hive Secundus. Well, we'll be talking about Malstrain gangs, Spyrers, and a few more in this last part to give you a general overview of the Gangs of Necromunda and what to expect when you start playing this awesome new game. Now, Malstrain gangs are still a thing in Necromunda. These were in your Hive Secundus box, and they are flipping awesome models. Some really creepy vibes that you get from these deformed, irradiated Malstrain dudes. They are different to your regular Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers find these guys super yuck, and they hate them. They want to kill them on sight. But it's just really nice having a really different aesthetic and vibe to the Gangs of Necromunda. Now, the problem with Malstrain gangs is that they are severely hampered in campaigns. You can still play them in campaigns, but you're going to fall behind. I think if you're going to play a shorter campaign, then they are much better for that. But really, Malstrain gangs seem to be designed as an arbitrator tool as opposed to anything else. And sadly, that is still the way in this edition, which is a shame because I think there are a lot of people, myself included, that would have loved to have seen these guys a bit more fleshed out and more playable in campaigns, to be honest. Now, they don't have a special rule. In fact, the special rule is that they can't take fighters that aren't on this list. So no hangers-on, no dramatis personae, nothing like that. They can only take stuff that's in this list. Again, though, this is something that could be easily house ruled if you wish. In terms of skills across the gang, generally speaking, you are getting agility and cunning most of the time on primaries. And there is a designer's note for Malstrain gangs here as well, which just kind of highlights what I've been talking about here. The Malstrain almost never appear as a full gang outside of Hive Secundus. Instead, it is far more common to see gangs corrupted by the Malstrain trying to further its aims in a campaign. A Malstrain gang works the same as any other, though with their leader and champions being unable to perform any post-battle actions as they will struggle to keep up with other gangs. So you can't do the trading post anymore. You can't do fit bionics. You can't do any of the things that your leaders and champions can do post-cycle. What you can do, though, is you can still work turf and territory with your gangers, and there are a few other things that you can do as well, but you are severely hampered. Now, what I would say is that any wise arbitrator could just, get rid of that rule. Just get rid of it, play them as normal, let them do their thing. Of course, don't let Gene Stealers have flamers and stuff. Like, all you need to do is, just let the leaders and champs do the other stuff anyway, even if they can't buy certain weapons and things like that. Anyway, let's have a look at the actual gang list, because it has changed a little bit, actually. You now have a dedicated leader, and that is the Malstrain Alpha. So the dramatis personae that was before the Malstrain Alpha is now your leader. And boy, is he a beast. He is 285 credits, which is a very, in fact, the most expensive leader so far. He's movement 6, weapon skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 4, attacks 4, and a 5+ save. His mental stats are all great with 9s, apart from intelligence 5 there. And he has the Fade double, which he had in the previous game as well. So double action to do it. You can remove him from the battlefield at the start of the next round before rolling for priority. The Malstrain Alpha is deployed on the battlefield as if using Infiltrate. So you can take him off and put him on somewhere else. Brilliant rule. Now, he comes with the Clamber, Dodge, Infiltrate, Juggernaut, Nerves of Steel, and Rain of Blows skills. Wow. He's armed with razor-sharp claws and a venomous bite, and they may not purchase or be equipped with additional weapons, war gear, except for pets, which they may only purchase from the Malstrain equipment list. Fair enough. He is a monster. The Malstrain Gene Stealer is your champion, or one type of champion anyway, and he's basically just a dialed-in version of the leader here. 245 credits though, so 40 credits cheaper. Save 5+, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and strength and toughness 4, weapon skill 3+, and movement 6 as well. So just slightly not as good as the leader. But he comes with Clamber, Dodge, Juggernaut, Nerves of Steel, Rain of Blows as well. So pretty nasty there. Same rules with everything else though, and he comes with starting XP 49 as well, just like most champs. We also have the secondary champ here, which is your Malstrain Coalescence. Flipping awesome model, straight out of James Carpenter's Jim Carpenter? James Carpenter? I can't remember. John Carpenter. There you go. Thing movie. And this is the bundle of tentacles that is the Coalescence. He is, not armed for combat really, but his toughness 4, weapon skill is average, ballistic skills 5+, but he is a weird. So it comes with Malstrain weird power of your choice and gets Malstrain weird powers as a primary as well. The Malstrain Brood Scum is your ganger and specialist. These are 45 credits and they are basically a hive scum, pretty much the same stats as a hive scum, and they come with the specialist as well, which is nice. Gives you a bit more flavour. You can do all 8 of the different specializations for your gangers here in a Malstrain gang too, making the very boring, ordinary feel to the gang slightly more interesting. Lastly, we have got the Tyromite as well. Now, the Tyromite is your pet, and these can be taken on your champions and leaders as well. And these have got a 6-inch leash range, so slightly more than a lot of other pets. Their movement's 7, weapon skill 4+, toughness is only 2, however, but initiative 5 as well. So they can certainly shift around. They've got a 6-up save, and they have the dodge skill 2, and they are armed with a stinger, which is quite nasty, actually. The stinger, by the way, is a Radphage Toxin 3+, -2 AP attack, so pretty nasty if it does hit you. Other than that, though, the Malstrain equipment list is fairly basic. It's pretty much the same as an Outcast list, really, in a lot of ways. Nothing particularly stands out. In fact, it's just shotguns, las guns, auto guns, things like that. Nothing too fancy, unfortunately. The Malstrain weird powers are pretty cool, though. We get Catalyst, we got Hypnotic Gaze, the Horror, Leech Essence, Paroxysm, and Aura of Despair as well, which are all pretty much the same as how they were before, and they're quite unique. They're quite different to any other weird power in the game too. Worth noting that you can still become a Malstrain corrupted gang as well, and if you do this, you are, again, any of the 6 houses or Palanite Enforcers can become Malstrain corrupted, Helot corrupted, and Genestealer corrupted as well. What you gain for being Malstrain corrupted at creation is you don't benefit from any of your gang's skills or special rules. Also, what you get for being Malstrain corrupted at creation is that you don't get any special rules associated with that gang anymore. The leader may be upgraded to a weird, which again I think is 35 credits there too. You get 0 to 3 Malstrain Genestealers as well, and 1 Coalescence that you can add to your gang as well. Leaders and champions can purchase Malstrain Tyromites. Any number of Malstrain Brood Scum may be added to the gang roster as well, which is pretty cool, that. And also, no fighters with the Brute Hanger-On or Ped subtype may be added to the gang list either. So all in all, the Malstrain gang is a little bit disappointing because it doesn't have a lot of the options and feel of some of the other gangs, but I think a good arbitrator could make a few adjustments here and there and just make them a little bit better in campaigns. I would absolutely allow them in campaigns. I think they'd be very strong because the alpha is so scary, and so are the Genestealers, but let's give them a go and see how they go in campaigns just as is. I think they will fall behind pretty quickly if it's not a short campaign, that's for sure. In terms of the Malstrain corruption, though, it's pretty nice, to be fair. Is it as good as the Helot corruption or the Genestealer corruption? I'm not quite sure there, but the fact that you can get fully fledged Malstrain Genestealers in your gang, and a Coalescence, and Tyromites too, and Brood Scum is pretty good if you add that to maybe a Goliath gang or something like that. Okay, now Spyres. Spyres are, again, something that's quite new in Necromunda in terms of the last edition. Spyres were something back in the day, though. Back in 95, we had Spyres as part of the Outlanders. They're Outlanders here as well, by the way. It's worth noting in this book. Spyres are super elite dickheads from the Up Hive who come down in their, shiny suits and basically hunt things. These guys are, absolute toffs. All the gear and some idea, basically. Now, they operate very differently to any other gang. They've got a bunch of special rules, which is going to take me a while to go through here, so bear with me. Now, they don't have a gang special rule like other gangs, but they are quite complex and, certainly not for beginners, I would say, generally speaking. You've always got to have a leader, just like you have with other gangs as well. And in campaigns, they have their own unique territory as well, which is as the following. You basically gain 15 credits from your territory when collecting income as well, in much the same way as you do with a settlement and stuff. However, at the start of each post-cycle, one Spyre may clear their recovery box when declaring post-cycle actions, which is pretty good there. In terms of skill access on Spyres, it depends which Spyre we're talking about, but basically the Hunt Master gets combat and savant and shooting. The Jakara gets agility and combat as primaries. The Malkadon gets agility and cunning. The Oris gets brawn and combat. The Yeld gets agility and shooting, and the Caryatid, which is the pet, gets agility as a primary there as well. Kill count is something here as well, and every time you take a fighter out of action with one of your Spirers, they gain 1 kill count point, okay? When selecting a crew in a Spyre gang to fight against another gang, you basically split your crew allowance in half. So what that means is if the other gang is bringing 10 fighters and they're not a Spyre gang, you bring 5. If they're bringing 6 fighters, you bring 3. You're also rounding up on that for the sake of reinforcements and things as well. So, you know, if you'd normally get 3 reinforcements, you get 2, and so on and so forth. Now, all Spirers have the Juggernaut skill, and the Juggernaut skill basically means that you aren't suppressed unless you're wounded. Pretty great. Spirers can never be captured for any reason. Spirers do not suffer any of the effects of chems, and Spirers never need to make nerve checks. Reflex Enhancers is the best special rule here, and the reason why you only have half the amount of Spirers as you do the opponent is because these guys get 2 activation markers each turn, which means that your Spirers go twice and any other fighter in the game goes once. Okay, what that means is my Spyre goes, your fighter goes, and then my Spyre goes again. Nice. Now, instead of having lasting injuries as well, they instead have a Spyre hunting rig glitch as well. So they have glitches that you roll on a 66 table for. If you roll the 66, of course, you're dead, and all the others are different things for your suits. Now, going back to the kill count, in the post-cycle step, if your kill count is at least 4, reduce their kill count by 4 and either clear all Spyre hunting rig glitches, so reset their glitch counts to 0, so that's the injuries that you stack up, or you get to take a hunting rig augmentation as well instead. Now, you can also pay 100 credits, which is a lot, by the way, in this edition of the game, to also remove all glitches from a fighter in the post-cycle action as well. Other post-cycle actions that you can do, you can terrorize territory, and any fit fighter can do this. You get an extra 10 credits from any territory there as well that you do this with. And you can also train as well, and you get 2 XP for that as well, which is pretty cool. The Spire Hunt Master is 190 credits, is very good in terms of stats, but only strength, toughness 3. Still 3 wounds though, which is nice. 3 attacks and a 5+ save. When added to the gang, you get 1 augmentation point to spend as well, which is pretty cool. They are equipped with the Sovereign Hunting Rig, which is slightly different to the others, and you can only be equipped with Hunt Master equipment basically too. The Jakara Spyre is the sort of close combat sort of melee specialist. 185 credits for the Jakara, weapon skill 3+, movement 6. They have strength, toughness 3, 2 wounds, 3 attacks, initiative 4, and a 5+ save there as well. The Jakara Spyre must always be equipped with exactly 1 option from the Jakara weapons section of the Spyre Hunter thing as well, and they also get the mirror shield too. The Malkadon Spyre is 185 credits and is the sneaky boy. This one comes with the Malkadon hunting suit as well, and they also come with paired web incisors and the claws as well, I believe, and they're, you know, pretty much the same stats as the Jakara really in a lot of ways. Their movement 7 though, which is pretty nice. They also come with a drop rig and grapnel launcher too, which is pretty nice. The Oris is your roadblock beefcake type. This guy is only wounds 2 now, so he's been taken down a bit. He's 180 credits, so he's actually cheaper than the other 2 Spires, which is crazy because he was the most expensive by far in the last edition. His stats haven't got any sort of better otherwise though, but he is toughness 4. The Oris also comes with the Oris hunting rig and then has to purchase whatever weapons they want to come with. Lastly, we have the Yeld. The Yeld is the flying shooty boy of the Spire. Is 180 credits, has a weapon skill of 4+, a ballistic skill of 3+, 7 movement, and has the Yeld suit there as well. So the Spires have a lot of unique equipment and special rules that we're going to go through as well. In terms of the stuff that the Hunt Master can take, you can take the Malkadon slashing claws, the Toxin Whip, mirror shields, monomolecular swords, basically one of each of the things pretty much except for the Oris stuff. So you can't take the Oris fists or guns at all. Talking of the Oris gets to take bolt launchers, disintegration matrix, by the way, which is an unstable weapon, which is a bit harsh, but pretty good still, and paired Volkite charges if you like Dark Age technology. The Yeld gets a choice between the laser gauntlets and the missile gauntlets as well. I'm not going to go through all of the augmentation, but basically what that means is for each augmentation point you go up on your equipment. So your suit can go up and give you extra saves and things, and your weapons can go up and cause more lethality, AP and things like that. The Orus hunting rig gives you a 6-up invulnerable save, as does the Sovereign hunting rig as well. It's also worth mentioning that the Yeld is flying. So the Yeld has the flying ability and can just flap anywhere with very, very high movement and initiative of 5-2. The Caryatid Prime also is the pet, by the way. I skipped over that earlier. 70 credits for the Caryatid Prime and has a bunch of special rules here as well. Subject to the reflexes enhancers too, so you get 2 activations for the pet too. They are a charmed companion, meaning that the owner may reroll 1 failed save per round too. They also have a 3+ invulnerable save for themselves as well. Again, I could spend ages talking about Spyres. They are fairly unchanged from the last version of the game. However, their stats have become worse. Their price has come down. So they're a little bit cheaper. You have to buy most of the equipment though, but they aren't as good either. They still get to activate twice each turn, so they're very, very much like a chess-like tactical gang, but they are still quite vulnerable. So glass cannons to the extreme, Spyres, but really, really fun to use. They can be hard to play against, but they can also really crumble under pressure as well. Ironhead squats now. Now these guys are an absolute fan favourite. I know a lot of people that love squats, certainly in the lore and to play them as well. And in the last game, they were the most Dakka gang, so they could put out more shots than any other gang. They were the short, sort of mid-range firefight gang with loads and loads of rapid fire. All of their weapons had more rapid fire. Let's see if they're any different in this edition of the game. In terms of their gang-wide special rule, it's a bit crap, really. Basically, they don't need to make nerve checks when a fighter goes out of action within 3 inches. It's very situational, but you just don't need to make the nerve check. In terms of skills, it's brawn and shooting, mainly with a little bit of savant in there too as primary skills, and some of the fighters are listed as follows. The Squat Chartermaster, who is the leader here, is 130 credits, so, you know, a fairly expensive leader with a 5+ armor, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, movement 4 and initiative 2. I'm going to be talking about their initiative a lot, but movement 4, initiative 2, so you can dash a whopping 6 inches. The Drill Master is your champion here, or one of the champions, should I say. 90 credits, so not fairly affordable for a champion. 2 wounds, 2 attacks, toughness 4. All squats have toughness 4, by the way. Movement 4, initiative 2. The Ironhead Squat Exomaster is the guy in slightly more armor, and that is actually reflected, finally, in the actual profile for this fighter. They instead have a save of 4+. So anything in an exosuit has a better save. The Exomaster has a 4+ save, which is pretty nice, really. They're still toughness 2 and they're 2 wounds. They're going to be quite hard to put down. However, the Exomaster is movement 4 and initiative 2. The Drillkin is your ganger. These guys are 45 credits. They are specialists. So again, you could give these guys the scout specialization to give them clamber and make them slightly better at moving, because you're going to need that, because they are initiative 2 and movement 4. The next one is your Prospect, and the first Prospect here is your Ironhead Exokin. This guy's 40 credits, so he's 5 credits cheaper than your ganger, but he has that 5-up save. So he has a slightly better save from having more armor. However, he is initiative 3, which is a bit better, weirdly, in the big armor. 4 movement again, though, so a whopping 7-inch for the dash there, but he's also toughness 4 like every other squat too. Also worth mentioning that this Prospect, this Exokin here, comes with nerves of steel as well, and his cool is actually a 6, so it's not too bad on this Prospect. I actually think 40 credits for the Prospect, not too bad at all. The last sort of normal fighter here is your Digger. This is your Juve, or should I say Prospect as well. He's 30 credits and he is movement 5. So he's the fastest fighter on your list. Movement 5, initiative 3. It's average, right? And you're going to need it because the rest of your gang is so painfully slow. The Brute is your Vartigan Exo Driller, which is 280 credits and can be upgraded with its Heavy Flamer. For 10 credits, you get to take the Heavy Bolter as well, which is pretty awesome. He comes with the Bulging Biceps skill, so he can move and shoot with his initiative of 3. Other than that, though, ballistic skill 3+, pretty nice on a Brute. Save is 4+ on the Brute as well, and overall, he's just pretty damn good. He also gets visibility of 3 inches higher than anyone else else too. They've got 2 pets here. The first one is the Techmite Excavator, which is 45 credits. This little guy is only strength 2. He's got a 3-inch leash range, and he can be equipped with 2 little weapons as well if you like. No other special rules for him though. The Techmite Oculi though is the flying variant of this guy. He's very fast with movement 7, and he gets the target paint special rule plus a 12-inch leash range as well. This guy's 50 credits by the way, and basically while at least one Techmite Oculi is within 6 inches of an enemy, its owner counts as firing at short range for the purposes of calculating cover. So pretty good there for 50 credits, a decent pet. However, useless in any other way with 5+ willpower, 5+ weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength 2, etc. Lastly, we get the Scalvian Explorator. This whoppingly expensive thing is 560 credits. It's probably also 560 bucks from Forge World as well, or maybe even more. This thing is your dedicated vehicle. It is huge. It's movement 6, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+. It has strength 7, toughness 8, 5 wounds, initiative 3, and 3 attacks with a save of 3+. It is armed with a Scalvian Flamer, a Scalvian Heavy Stubber, an Ironhead Claw, and a Scalvian Hull. It may not purchase any other stuff at all as well. Now, like I said earlier with the firefight stuff, so in the last edition of the game, squat weapons, Ironhead stub guns, Ironhead auto guns, Ironhead bolt guns all got 1 extra rapid fire. So an Ironhead bolt gun was rapid fire 2, an Ironhead auto gun was rapid fire 2, a stub gun was rapid fire 1. You don't have that anymore, guys. I'm so sorry, but there aren't as many shots being put out anymore. And honestly, I don't mind it because I've been on the receiving end of some absolute kick-ins from squats. Instead of the rapid fire, you now have the trait called reliable on all of the Ironhead weapons. That means for the bolt guns, the stub guns, the Ironhead, anything with Ironhead before it now has reliable. And they're a little bit more expensive, but they're more reliable basically. And I quite like it. It's fluffy. It fits the squats of having better gear than everyone else really in a lot of ways. They just don't put out as many shots, unfortunately. Now, it's worth mentioning that you can put your entire squat gang on dirt bikes or Sphenatar scout trikes as well, which are both mounts, by the way. So if your arbitrator is going to let you do it and have these guys in the underhive with dirt bikes and Sphenatar scout trikes, suddenly the gang becomes quite fast. Otherwise, though, the gang is painfully slow. They are the slowest gang in the game with the lowest initiative of 2 generally across the board. Even your leader has crap initiative and crap movement. Dashing 6 inches is not going to get you around the board very much. However, you're pretty good at shooting generally with shooting skills and stuff there too. I imagine squats are going to get a journal at some point soon that gives them the, the sort of dedicated skills and maybe some sort of other special rules for the gangs as well. Alternate gang variants, things like that too. But as is, they've been nerfed a little bit. But again, if we talk about giving everybody mounts, you can just give those scout trikes and bikes to everybody and have a whole bikey gang of squats. I quite like the idea of that. What do you think, guys? Lastly, we are talking about Ash Waste's Nomads. Now, I think these are, personally for me anyway, the nicest models in the whole of the Necromunda range. I flipping love these guys. I've owned them and painted them several times, and each time I paint these guys up, I never feel like I can do them justice, honestly. They are really that nice. They are the cross between the, the desert guys, the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars, and something from Dune, maybe. They're just flipping awesome. They have loads of insect vibes and loads of fabrics, and they're just so cool looking. Now, their gang special rule is amazing. I hope this doesn't get errated because there's definitely some room for abuse here. But basically, once at the start of the battle, before the first roll for priority, you can switch places with 2 fighters. Now, when you think about it, at first you go, well, that's okay, I suppose. But what it means is you've got infiltrating fighters in this list. You could infiltrate some of your hunters onto the board and then swap them out with your brute before the game begins, or your leader with his venom caster or something like that. There's a lot of room for abuse here, but, it's perfectly doable using Infiltrate combined with this. In terms of skills as well, we get Cunning as primaries and Agility as primaries on most Ash Wastes as well, which is pretty nice too. The Nomad Chieftain is 120 credits, so he's a bit cheaper than some of the other leaders. He's only got 2 attacks, mind, but he is movement 6 with initiative 4, so a lot faster and more in line with Escher, actually. Also a 5+ save on this leader, which is pretty typical as well. The Nomad Watcher is the first champion for 100 credits, also a 5+ save, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, initiative 4 and 6 movement. In fact, I'm wrong there, 5 movement, which is a bit slower than the leader and some of the other fighters in this gang. These guys are usually the blokes that you're going to have the big heavy charge casters on. And they've got weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+ as well. The Nomad Stormcaller is your super champion for Nomads. He is mounted on a Hellamite. He's 140 credits. He's got 5+ on the save there. 2 attacks, 2 wounds, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 4+. He's got a bunch of special rules though. The first one is Dust Storm. So it's a single thing, a single action here, and if the visibility X rule is not active for this battle, apply the visibility 24-inch rule. Otherwise, either increase or decrease the value of X by 6 to a minimum of 6. So you get to choose what the visibility rules are, and this is super, super fun and swingy. And remember, he is equipped with a Dustback Hellamite, which is a mount as well. The Ashwaste Nomad Warrior is your generic sort of ganger here. He's 45 credits. They are movement 6, which is a bit faster, and initiative 4 as well. So absolutely worth the credits here. They're also a specialist too. The mental stats are 6s across the board, but having snipers with long rifles on this gang just out of the box is crazy good, especially when long rifles no longer run out of ammo, right? The Nomad Hunter is the other specialist sort of prospect here. These guys are 45 credits, which is the same price as the ganger. Their weapon skill, ballistic skill 5 now, so they're not quite as good as they were before. They are a prospect in most senses. They are, however, movement 6 with initiative 4 again, and they have 2 attacks. So even though their weapon skill is fairly low, they have 2 attacks plus a high initiative, so usually they're going to hit first, okay? That is doubled up with the fact that these guys get the infiltrate skill. Just flat out of the box infiltrate. Like I said earlier, you can infiltrate these guys onto the board, and they can also have any weapon on this list as well, and during the course of a campaign, anything from the trading post too. So no longer limited to the weapons they get in the last version of the game where you only had the Hunter equipment list. These guys get everything. So you can put Venom Casters on these guys, I believe, and infiltrate them in, and very, very nasty indeed. The Nomad Dust Runner is the last sort of normal fighter profile here, and this is a 25 credit prospect. These guys are pretty good. Again, movement 6, initiative 4, 6+ save, and, you know, overall a pretty decent prospect, really. Their mental stats, you know, leadership 5 is fairly terrible. Everything else 6, 6, 5 as well. And again, you can give these guys any equipment that you like, really. The Dune Scuttler is your dedicated brute, and this guy's awesome. I love the model, actually. I didn't like it at first, but now I've actually got it and own it. I'm really enjoying it. And it's 225 credits, 4 attacks, 3 wounds, initiative 4, and movement 6. And these guys are hard to kill as well. So when rolling on the lasting injury table, you get to roll twice and pick the lowest. Also, they come with the clamber skill as well with movement 6 and initiative 4. They are very, very maneuverable. A nasty, nasty customer that will hurt you in close combat. We also have 3 different pets here, which is awesome. You can have an all pets gang if you want. The Anthromite Spineworm that comes with the Hunters in the box is 60 credits, and they are a leash range of 6. They've also got small targets, so they're -1 to hit as well at all times, and they are burrowing, so they can move underneath solid and impassable terrain, which is fantastic. They are also, you know, I think I might have mentioned this already, they have a longer leash range, and they are weapon skill 4+, so not bad at all, really. They come with a nasty bite too. The Unbound Hellamite is a pretty interesting one. This is 70 credits for a Hellamite with no rider. So basically, if you have one of these with you and you're mounted and you're within 1 inch of an active Unbound Hellamite, you are not suppressed. So you can basically avoid being suppressed with a successful agility test. Pretty interesting, really, but 70 credits to do that. Lastly, we've got the Ashwing Hellamite, which is also 70 credits. These guys are flying monstrosities. They are movement 8, and they have a 9-inch leash range as well. The owner can deploy the lure as well, so they can put a lure down as a single action, and that basically means that the Ashwing Hellamites flap around that lure wherever you want to put it on a strategic strong point, say on a you know, an actual objective, for example. Pretty cool. The Ashwaste Nomad list is pretty awesome. Lots of unique gear in here as well. We've got long rifles available to everybody for 55 credits. We've got blast weapons, heavy blasters as well, charge casters, which are pretty great too, venom caster, anything with caster in it, caster and blaster. Web weapons are available here as well as chain lances and things like that. The Stormcaller staff, which is only available for the Stormcaller 2, and all of the Nomad weapons as well, which is a Brawler, Specialist, and Hunter only. Interesting that you've got Brawler Specialists that can take the Hunter weapons as well. I won't go into too many of the weapons here, but basically the Venom Caster is a template weapon, ammo 6+, template and toxic 3+, so pretty much the same as your Chem Thrower, I believe, for House Escher. Blast weapons all have shock 6+, basically. And yeah, just lots of really unique and flavorful weapons that you get for Nomads. All in all, I think Nomads are flipping awesome, and I really, really can't wait to start playing them. Of course, I've dedicated myself a Goliath gang for the meantime, but I think Ash Waste Nomads are sitting there ready for me to play a campaign with as well. I think Nomads really have been one of the winners in this edition, particularly with you know, the ability to do all the infiltration and nasty shenanigans as well. We're going to see Hunters in more lists. They're not quite as good in terms of their weapon skill and ballistic skill, but having infiltrate is just so great, especially when you're doing it en masse. I really love these guys. You can no longer hide in the wastes with your stuff, by the way, which was a thing in the last edition, but I do think the Ash Waste Nomads are definitely one of the more fun and fluffy gangs in the game. And it's also worth mentioning, by the way, guys, they do have full unfettered access to the trading post, just like any other gang. Brilliant. Anyway, this has been a long series of videos, and I'm knackered by the end of this one as well. So thank you so much for watching this. And again, just to reiterate, I will go back and I will do full and in-depth gang guides for each of these gangs as we go further with this new edition of Necromunda. And I'm looking forward to exploring exactly what you can do with this. But in the meantime, though, check back for more, and I will be back with another video real soon. Thank you for watching. Peace out.